Those who look at the world do not see God, and those who look at God, they do not see the world. You see, when we're too busy taking everything personally, when we're too caught up in our worldly identity, we become blinded to the lessons that life is trying to teach us. But a lot of the times we wallow in our own suffering because we take things personally. This person did this thing to me. Life is happening in a way that I don't want life to happen. And we will find ourselves always judging our life in these subtle ways, whether it's society's expectations of you, or your family's expectations, or your friends, or even your own. You put conditions on your own happiness. Happiness only comes when the stars align and everything is perfect. But the problem is that life is rarely the way we expect it to be. And you find that there is great wisdom in wanting it to be the way it is. In other words, you accept reality as it is and you do not resist it. Because when you understand, or if you just even have faith, that there is a reason that we are in the place that we're in, that there is a reason that we experience the things that we do, then we don't have to place all of these kind of burdens upon ourselves. When you can ignore the world and focus your attention on God, when you see that God is everywhere and in every experience, this is where the clarity arises. A lot of people experience things that they don't like, and they ask themselves, why is this happening to me? But when you have your attention oriented toward God, the answers come easily, at least more easily. And you begin to pay attention and see how God is shaping you in all of these ways, especially the ways you don't like. And this allows for a great acceptance in times of suffering or struggle, because you can rest easy and say, oh, well, I am exactly where I need to be. And that my interpretation of reality, of what I think is right, is just an idea. And it doesn't necessarily have any basis in the truth. Because in this limited form, how can I know the truth? Or at least the whole truth? I can only understand a very small sliver of truth. You see, a lot of our suffering arises when we project onto reality. We say what we are experiencing is wrong. And so therefore we resist life, we resist the present moment, and we suffer. And what happens when you continuously point your mind toward God is that you find that the people that come into your life, the things they say, and the things you say back to them, you see that it's all God's message to you. Or when you are experiencing something that you don't like, or a tough situation, you see too that it is God's message. And this provides great relief, because the burden of the world is no longer on your shoulders, but that you have given your burdens to God, and you can rest easy and you can allow life to unfold. You see, because things that we deem are negative are going to happen regardless. And what it comes down to is how much grace can you flow through these situations? Or will you be dragged along kicking and screaming? And this all comes down to the way you react. And you react based on the identity of who you believe you are. And if you have placed your identity on the world, then your experiences will feel as though they are right or wrong based on the conditions of this little ego, this person, the society, other people. But when you look at God, you find that all things are right. And so you no longer need to worry anymore. Of course, we're only human. We get pulled back into the illusion of this world. We get pulled back into our own personal problems all the time. And we worry and we have concern and we have fear. And this is not a problem. All we have to do is simply remember to turn our mind back toward God. It's like if you are stuck in darkness, you don't start fighting the darkness. You just turn on the light. You turn your mind toward the light. If you have 99 things going wrong, if you continue to focus on what is wrong, you will get more of what is wrong. And you will continue to wallow in that suffering. But the way out is to focus on the one thing that is good. Often, the many things that are good, we're just conditioned to focus on what is wrong. So don't beat yourself up too much if life is not going the way you want it to. Do not judge yourself so harshly, but simply communicate with God. Share with God your troubles, the things that are bothering you, because no matter what, whether you're complaining to God, or you're angry at God, or you're grateful, you are still giving your attention to God. And in that you are open to receive the answers. But if you are so focused on the world, then you might remain confused your whole life. It's not so obvious why things happen the way they do. If your life is based on your worldly success, so too your peace and your happiness, and the love that you experience will be conditional on that. But when you look at life from a higher perspective, let's say from a soul's journey, you realize that it is not really about what you do, or better yet, what you gain or what you have in this life, because you were born with nothing and you die with nothing. But the one thing that remains is who you are, your soul's growth through this life, and whether or not you have recognized your true nature. The more you connect with God, the more you have great relief from the suffering of your experiences. See through the illusion of the false stories that we tell ourselves, and that these are just ideas that we choose to believe in. And we don't have to believe in them, because no matter what is true, we cannot see the whole truth. And so there are very many elements that we are unaware of. And so we can never truly have an accurate understanding of the nature of reality. And if you can let go of these stories and these identities and your strong attachments to them, and experience great relief, peace, then why not do so? Because in truth, the main thing we get from holding on to these attachments is suffering. So perhaps it's time to be free.